Welcome students. Today we are going to learn appreciation of the poem. It is a one type of part of writing skill and today we are going to learn about it. Students, do you know the meaning of appreciation? Appreciation means to recognize or enjoy the good qualities of someone or something. And appreciation of the poem is what? To recognize or enjoy the good qualities of the poem. It means appreciation of the poem. There are so many reasons to enjoy the poem. Someone likes the rhythm of poem, someone likes the rhyme scheme of the poem, someone likes the pattern of poem, someone likes the main message of the poem, someone likes the fun of the poem. There are so many reasons and we have to write down these all reasons or these all good qualities in the appreciation of the poem. So let's try to write the appreciation of the poem. There are some rules how to write the appreciation. We shall see one by one. Appreciation of the poem is written by using 5 points. There are 5 points to write the appreciation of the poem. So, our first point is title. The title of the poem we have to write down in our first point. So, which is our title of the poem? The title of the poem is Dad and the Cat and the Tree. In this way, you have to write down the title in full sentence. The title of the poem is Dad and the Cat and the Tree. And if you are going to write the appreciation of another poem, like The Good Natured Girl, so you have to write down the title like this. The title of the poem is The Good Natured Girls, like this. Second point is poet. And in this point, what we have to write? We have to write down the name of the poet like this. This poem is written by Kit Wright. The Dad, the Cat and the Tree. This poem is written by Kit Wright. That is why I have written here the name of Kit Wright. But you have to write down the name of poet, which poem's appreciation you are going to write. Third point is rhyme scheme. And in this point, you have to write down the rhyme scheme. We have learned how to identify the rhyme scheme of the poem. According to the rhyming pairs, you can identify easily rhyming scheme. But in this poem, Dad and the Cat and the Tree, in this poem, we have not the rhyme scheme. That is why we have to write down what the rhyme scheme of the poem is free verses. Our fourth point is figure of speech. In this point, we have to write down the figure of speech which is used in the poem. Each and every poem has figure of speech. Poet always uses the figure of speech in his poem to make the language creative, attractive, figurative, and to compare one thing with another thing. Poet always uses the figure of speech in the poem. So let's take a look towards the figures of speech which are used in this poem. First is simile. Poet has used simile figure of speech in a sentence. But how to identify simile figure of speech? A simile is a figure of speech that uses comparison between two unlike things. Between two unlike things. It means what? Two different things. Poet wants to do comparison between two different things. That time poet uses simile figure of speech in the sentence by using like, as, and so words to compare two unlike things with each other. Poet always uses like, so, and as words in the sentence. For example, a climber like me. Poet has used like word to compare a climber with the daddy. Comparison is going on between a climber and a daddy by using like word. That is why this sentence is of simile figure of speech. Second figure of speech is repetition. And how to identify the repetition figure of speech? We shall see. Take a look on this example of his hair and his face. Of his hair and his face. Which word is repeated two times in this sentence? Yes, his is repeated two times in this sentence. Second sentence, and his trousers and his face. And his and his. Two words are repeated in this sentence. It means repetition means a word or a group of words are repeated. सेंटेन्स मध्ये ज्यावेळेस एखादा शब्द किंवा एकपेक्षा जास्त शब्द 2 ते 3 वेळेस किंवा 2 पेक्षा जास्त वेळेस यूज केलेले असतात. इट मीन्स that sentence is of repetition figure of speech. म्हणजेच एखाद्या वाक्यामध्ये ज्यावेळेस एखादा शब्द 2 किंवा 2 पेक्षा जास्त वेळेस यूज केला जातो त्यावेळेस ते सेंटेन्स रिपिटेशन फिगर ऑफ स्पीचचे आहे असे म्हटले जाते. किंवा सेंटेन्समध्ये 2 किंवा 2 पेक्षा जास्त शब्दांचा समूह हा 2 किंवा 2 पेक्षा जास्त वेळेस रिपीट केला जातो त्यावेळेस सुद्धा ते सेंटेन्स रिपिटेशन फिगर ऑफ स्पीचचे आहे असे म्हटले जाते. स्टुडंट्स, देर आर मेनी फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच बट इन दिस पोयम पोएट हॅज यूज्ड these two figures of speech. And our last point to write the appreciation of the poem is central idea. It means main theme of the poem. And in this point you have to write down the main theme of the poem. And in this, what we have to write down? You have to write down about what the poem is written. What is written in the poem? In short, you have to write down. You can write down which type of poem is this, and you can also write down what did you learn from this poem. For example, it is a very interesting poem. In this poem, a funny incident is described in humorous way. This poem describes the overconfidence of dad who wants to do each work in expert manner, but at the end of the poem dad got into trouble. I enjoyed this poem a lot.